This episode of the Slander podcast is brought to you by the fact that I'm out of everything. I'm literally looking at 3 hand-rolled cigarettes on the table, kind of depressed about it. But to be honest with you, I was really inspired by watching a crossover podcast tonight. I watched Awesome Talking to Sherman Tanks live and gave me the itch to get back on the microphone. Couldn't help myself. Wasn't going to do it, and then I was like, fuck it. Why? Because the caffeine and the coffee is strong with this one. But today I submitted my questions for my first interview with Todd Smith, which I'm hoping to hear back soon so I can read his responses and talk about it here on the podcast. But as you can tell, well, now you can't tell. How the fuck would you know? It's 1:38 a.m. on a Tuesday night in Elmira. Trying to be a little quieter because I believe everybody's passed out. That's the thing. I try to be respectful of other people. That, and it's a little easier to talk when you don't feel like a maniac when somebody walks by the door and you know you've got an open mic session going. You're just talking into the void. But it doesn't matter. Been looking at a lot of stuff in the news lately. Nothing but depressing shit. But I keep finding, like, you find those cool scientific discoveries that generate your interest. I mean, god damn it, I wanted the hoverboard to be real. That's already been used in another podcast, but no, but things that I was talking about, Ash, with bio 3D printing and stuff like that, when it gets to the point you no longer need the retailer or warehouse for that matter, because you can download a PDF to your fucking printer and print a physical object, what will happen to consumerism then? Your precious job market could be replaced by machines tomorrow. 75% of the U.S. workforce could be replaced by machines if we were to automate tomorrow, which is not a bad thing. These shit jobs are not meant to be worked by us. Put your nose to the grindstone and never look up and enjoy life is the American motto. It's bullshit. Everybody wants to talk about how healthcare here it's better because it's privatized, when in actuality it costs you more here because it's privatized than it does to pay taxes somewhere where they have socialized medicine. The rhetoric is so disgusting at points that I get sick. But it doesn't matter. No, why the fuck would logic dictate anything in this country, people? You want to sit there and tell me about how Obama's ruining this country? Do you have any idea who runs this country? Or who runs the world, for that matter? Because I don't. I know it's not any government. I know it's no legal group on the map. Maybe it has something to do with the currency system. I don't know. Maybe you should start there. Maybe you should look at examples. I believe it was Greenland arrested all their fucking bankers when they committed the kind of fraud that our country did. They don't arrest activists in that country. They arrest the offenders. But in our country, someone like Edward Snowden is a bastard and needs to be brought to justice. That's a fucking joke. What we need to do is get open transparency both ways. And if worldwide politics is that fucked up and too dangerous to expose to us, then by all rights we really should know about it because we need to fix it. Obviously, the current method is getting us nowhere but further down the same rabbit hole with the same fucking result over and over and over again. It's like True Detective. It's a flat fucking circle. You've been here before. I don't know. What the fuck do I know? The rest of us were left our own devices to keep our sanity. Living life in excess just to cope with the dull, slow drizzle that is your everyday life. Unless you're actively pursuing a project that makes you feel a little bit alive. And up until recently, I was pretty dead inside because I'd become numb to this brand muffin existence that we call the United States. And I know I got it good because I can get on a microphone here and do this. But I'm saying it's just because I got it better than somebody else somewhere doesn't mean it's any less shitty here. The kind of logic always, it works to a certain extent. If you're stuck in an existential rut for the day and you're depressed and you want to say, hey, somebody else has got it worse than I do, and it gets you out of that mind frame, then yeah, sure. But when it comes to a major fucking issue as far as human condition in everyday life, then maybe you want to toss that anecdotal style phrase away and maybe fundamentally consider that basic needs should be met and it's a given right. as we've well established a society that can provide to do so. It's so gross. It's so fucking gross. The perversion. And I'm not going to name any names, but I know an older gentleman came over the other day and scolded my buddy and was talking about how people were freeloading and how 60% works hard and there's no 1%. And that generational gap always grosses me out in the end. It's like talking to a brick wall, because while I will sit there and intently listen to everything you say and try to see your perspectives and points, the minute I start talking, it's like, la 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 la, can't fucking hear you. You might shake up everything I've committed to. I get it, man. You don't want to think that you wasted your time, but you did. It's fine. I mean, I wasted 10 years of my fucking life in the regular workforce in this country, and I'm going to waste some more soon. I have to pay the bills just like anybody else, and I have to pay for my shit. But I've never not worked for what I got or asked for anything. I mean, if you have a good friend that helps you out, you have a good friend that helps you out. Otherwise, you fucking better be ready to handle your own affairs in this fucking country, because this is not the helping hand country. That is for goddamn sure. This is the we leave you on the street corner, call you fucking lazy, in a perpetual state where you can't get a job because you're homeless, but you're homeless because you can't get a job. That kind of thing. Just like Brad was talking about on the podcast the other day, when we was talking about you can't work if you don't have a car, but you can't have a car if you don't work. It's a fucking, it's like you need that initial somebody to fucking cut you a break, somebody to step in and be like, listen, I will help you get through this rough patch just so you can get up and running. And it's so frowned upon in this country. To work together in a community sense or just uplift each other in general is completely frowned upon and looked at as weakness, because of the heart of the world commerce comes from our country. We are the driving economy of this fucking world. If we go under, it's going to fuck up the entire thing for everybody. And everybody knows that. That's why China backs us up. Not because China rules us, but because China knows that we fucking are the ones buying the shit that they're pumping out at insanely low rates, funding their economy for their booming expansion. That's why they're keeping our dollar afloat. But, I mean, I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. I don't have my finger on the pulse of what the fuck's actually going on geopolitically. Shit like that. I don't even know if I used the right word there. Politics is so fucking disgusting. I mean, I thought about at one point taking political science and delving into the field because of a few movies I saw, and it was like, lick some stamps, be an activist, do something, change the world. And I realized the whole system was fundamentally fucked. I realized how fucking bad it really is. I realized that to even get within a position to make a difference, you're going to be approached and manipulated by people vastly beyond your capabilities of handling. As smart as I may consider myself, I could be outsmarted. I don't want to be on the radar on that level either, to be honest with you. I don't want to be under the microscope every second of every day. I'm fucking good. Maybe taking a bullet because some crazy fucking person who believes in this system disagrees with a policy that I endorsed. Yeah, I'm fucking good on that. You can take your public service and shove it right up your fucking ass. And it doesn't matter what you do in life. Anybody could be a fucking politician. The former mayor of the town I'm from, Elmira, one of the former mayors, I should say, I don't even know how many there have been since I've been here, but one of them was fucking arrested for stabbing and robbing a cab driver and shit, and he ended up being the mayor of Elmira. So what the fuck does that tell you? Or that guy, Anthony, I think it was Anthony Weiner's going to start running again in some other places after all that embarrassing shit happened. It's all a dog show. They bring him out, they present him, you look at him, you ooh, you ah. Somebody gets best in show prize, aka president, and you fucking move on. I mean, we actually had a guy who subscribes to a religion running for president that is proven to be false, was founded by a con man, Joseph Smith, and yes, I'm talking about Romney. I'm not going to get all like, I hate Romney, he's so elitist. They fucking all of them are. Obama just gets to play to your sensibilities because of social stance in the way the Democratic Party is perceived. And Romney is there to get that staunchy old vote. And the fact that it was so fucking close, oh god. Not that one or the other was any better, the same fucking policies would have been passed regardless, but the fact that somebody was so overtly ignorant in public and still almost won the fucking election in this country is really troublesome. But then again, if you break down American politics, there's about 300 million people in this country. About 150 million of those are registered to vote. And out of that 150 million, about half of that votes. So about 25% of this country votes for president. And my question is if none of us vote because we don't believe in it, then why do we follow the laws that are put in place that we don't believe in either? Why is the majority not saying something? Is it because of closed off media outlets and the control of information and what you can see in the country? Or is it because we're disenfranchised, and because of certain rhetorics we're still all separated from each other? It's clicks within the click within the click within the click. It's a mind fuck. It's like looking into a mirror, looking into a mirror, looking into a mirror. Every mainstream rhetoric you're ever going to hear about anything is always aimed with loaded terms, hot topic issues, and stuff to just generally separate us from each other. And I'm not preaching some tambourine shit on a corner where we are the world, we are one. But if anybody's ever had any sort of intense psychedelic experience, you realize there's something way fucking bigger going on than this. And the fact that you get to take part in it is pretty fucking crazy. And if it wasn't for so many of the societal issues that I have, I would love life. There would never be a reason for depression. I believe that most clinical depression is a systemic side effect of a society that has failed you. And I'm not pointing the finger at anybody. That accomplishes nothing either. I mean, our whole perception of justice is fucked. There's no such thing. Things are. So if something's fucked up, it's just fucked up, and you take care of it. You don't promote a criminal justice system that's based on revenge. How the fuck can that be mentally healthy for anybody? Seriously, how the fuck can that promote anything but more hatred and violence? And now the hot topic issue is whether we give these motherfuckers education or not. And I've actually heard people with the audacity to say, oh, people are just going to go to jail just to get a fucking education. What do you mean? It's probably going to be like some third-rate GED fucking style. Barely qualifies you for anything and is like asterisk with a fucking you got this shit in prison mark on it. No. And to be honest with you, if you are dumb enough to go to prison to get food in education, air quotes, then, you deserve it. I hope you get shanked in the fucking yard, you fucking mouth breather. I believe in holding a certain standard for most people, and it's just self-accountability. I'm not saying you have to be a great person or Mahatma Gandhi, motherfucker. I'm just saying, when it comes to common sense-based issued shit, maybe, just maybe, everything that's being vocalized in the media and the entertainment industry in front of you is horse shit. Maybe it's meant to steer you into a direction. Maybe it's meant to put a certain filter on your fucking camera so you see things a certain way. You now have a fisheye lens. Things become distorted. With the influx of information, we're not biologically built for it. It's proven. I mean, we're only built to memorize like 150 fucking names, but I can be friends with 10 million fucking people right now if I was so inclined or tried. I mean, or if I was famous. Even famous people don't reach those numbers. If I was like him, we'll put it that way. I could have like fucking 18 million people following me. That's insanity. But we have heard some good news about Dog Fashion Disco. We're pretty sure we've locked it down for a show around here. I can't give out a date or details yet. Brad would get mad at me. And I know you're going to listen to this, Brad. Sorry. And by the way, if I bum a cigarette or two off you, dude, we ran out of everything. People are just like, wow, this is fucking going off the rails quick. I know it is. The beauty is I get to just sit here and embrace it. But like I said, it's funny though. Just my internet connectivity can spawn things. Tonight I'm doing this to help silence the maddening fucking carnival, as Stanhope would say. And, exercise some fucking demons so when I go to lay my head on the pillow, I'm not going Mach 3 because I got all this pent up shit and nobody to talk to. And the fact is through social media and the internet, I watched something tonight that inspired me to fucking want to do it. I wasn't planning on doing a podcast. I mean, all of my podcasts so far have been very impromptu and not planned out. Day of, like, fuck it, let's do one tonight. Fuck it, you want to do one? Yeah, let's do one. We got nothing going on, let's do one. That's how all of it is. I'm not mainstream enough to have a scheduling program or any shit like that. I mean, I'll take it as a sign of success if I have to get to that point where I have to be that fucking organized. But until then, I'm just gonna enjoy the fucking ride. But soon, hopefully soon, we got a couple other people. I think we're gonna jump on here, a couple musicians and shit. So, let's get some legitimacy to this fucking thing. And I realize that I've been cranking them out with no time for an episode to marinate or people to absorb it or any. And it's the kind of the point is like, I don't want this to be too contrived. I just want to put out as much content as I can, and it won't matter where you dive in as long as you dive in. And then if you dive in and you like it, you're going to be able to look at a catalog and be like, holy shit, look at the selection that I have. I can fucking go through all these. And I like the fact that we haven't committed to a steady time where we're like, oh, gotta wrap it up because I'm going to turn into a pumpkin. It's more like, no, just let the fucking tape roll until you feel like it should end, until you feel like you run out of fucking steam. And I'm breaking down the dynamics of a podcast as a rookie. What an arrogant prick I am. And these roll your own cigarettes suck a fat dick, by the way, because the fucking tobacco falls out of them. But I envy the people that get to do what I'm doing right now in a bigger metropolitan area. You have access to so many more cool people, venues, abilities to get places, see things, do things. Just some of you who are doing podcasts and live in a big city now may have come from rural fucking areas, and that person, I'm not talking to you. If anything, you go, motherfucker. I hope I'm someone like you one day. But to the people who fucking live in New York City or live out in LA, and you get to just walk out your front door and you're part of the hive, man. I wish I could at least do that much. I mean, I'm sure I'd grow sick of big city life just as quick, but at least there would be a variety of depravity there. Because, fucking living this straight-laced, you got to maintain a social image and go down a standardized path. That has never sat right with me and never will. And I've preached the weirdo flag a million fucking times on this thing already. And it's because I keep just going me and Brad and then maybe I've had Ash on, the only guest I've had. Which, by the way, everybody should follow him at Ash Roachclip on Twitter. He's a really fucking cool guy, really smart, does open mics, really good musician. He's got some interesting projects himself that I know he wants to work on soon. And I will promote them on here if he ever gets to the position of making them happen. But the point is, there is no point. There's no point to any of it. To anything you're thinking about right now, there is no point that you can conceive of. Let's make that clear. That you, the listener, or me can conceive of. I'm not saying there's no point definitively. I'm saying that our little peanut-sized monkey fucking ant brains can't figure out the context in which we fit into the universe. And that itself is encouraging, because if I can be aware of that, so can you. So can everybody else. But it's not promoted. It's not a societal norm. It's not. I mean, I love the Craig Ferguson thing when he went into it, and I think it was in one of the Zeitgeist films about how we started to glorify youth through marketing and things like cleverness and wisdom and age and that kind of thing. It got reversed to being young and dumb and full of cum, so to speak. So I mean, in this country, youth is glorified, but as fun as it is to be young and my body can take the beating from fucking partying, it's not worth the trade-off of substance and experience and giving your life a fucking pulse. Give it a heartbeat, man. Dr. Frankenstein the shit out of it. You have to jumpstart your own thing, because nobody's going to do it for you. Otherwise, you're just going to follow some pre-planned path that seems normal, and then you're going to be halfway down it and have one of those, what they call midlife crises. And I've witnessed them. I witnessed my own father have one. It's not pretty. It's not something you want to be a part of. I mean, there's varying degrees, and some people get it worse than others, but I do not want to be that fucking guy. I mean, I would rather my midlife crisis be me just reinventing what I've already been doing, because I love it so much. I just need a fresh take, my second wind, so to speak. But, I don't know. I could get hit by a bus walking off the corner tomorrow. I walk a lot, so, I'm fucking free game for getting taken out randomly by a dumbass. We give fucking monkeys metal cars and nobody fucking kills everybody somehow. It's craziness. But, we're not capable of advanced thoughts like taking care of each other and that being a standard ethic, but yet we can somehow adhere to lines on a road and not fucking have catastrophic numbers of fatalities. No, I'm not saying there's not a shitload of car accidents and car related deaths every year, but they could be way fucking higher. The fact, in comparison to the number of what's on this globe, it's like a fractional thing that's just going to happen and occur. Anything you do has a trade-off. We all know that. Is the juice worth the squeeze? And obviously we want to go faster, be connected quicker, and be able to experience things in different ways. I mean, the fact that I can get in a metal tube and fly through the fucking air and go to the different part of the world is mind-blowing in itself. And the fact that I'm trusting this metal tube to not get me killed is crazy. But you don't think about that as risking your life. And this podcast is going nowhere fast, motherfuckers. Smoking that shitty tobacco. Caffeinated up to the gills at 2 a.m. as usual. I would not advocate my lifestyle for anyone. It's very unhealthy. But it's almost a side effect or like a byproduct of all this shit that's going on. I gotta operate outside of weird fucking time constraints and shit because it's the only thing that makes me feel better, even though it's hurting me at the same time sometimes. And there's times I get enough sleep and I'm fine, but there's also times where, as you saw through episodes 8 through 10, we just wired the fuck in and made it happen. To the point where I was shaking and couldn't stop. And it's just, I'm looking forward to the day of having video capabilities, being able to do stuff live, interact with anybody that may listen as it goes on, shit like that. That's all gravy. But it's a long-term goal, and there's a long fucking road ahead of me. But the thing I'm looking forward to most is performing live for you people. I'm looking forward to interacting with large groups of people and just seeing what happens. See if my perception of cunt to cool person ratio is the right barometer, if I have the right barometer on that fucker. So again, nickstock.com, nickstock.com. You will see a link for Slander on there. That is me. It's because I'm doing 10 minutes of stand-up in between metal bands like a crazy fucker. But the link goes right to our YouTube channel and stuff. So, it's all legitimate, people. We're working on it. I got stuff to show for it. I'm not just up here telling you what to do. I'm not doing the old do as I say, not as I do thing. Fuck that shit, man. I'm going to be out there doing it. And it may get me fucking killed. But, at least it'd be an interesting way to go out. Better than fucking 70 shit in your pants in a nursing home in a wheelchair. While you scream crazily, they're stealing my shit. It's all a matter of perspective, as always. And I use that word so much in my life now, I realize that perspective. It's the only thing you ever have in life is perspective. What else do you got to cling to? Your perspective is what allows you to function normally but not freak the fuck out that you're on a spinning piece of rock hurling through the fucking cosmos, but you gotta go to work tomorrow because of some fucking Monopoly game we created, and then pretend and argue about topics that none of you actually know anything about, being completely off base. I mean, humanity itself could not be more off fucking course as a whole than it is now. I mean, outside of like fucking thermonuclear warfare, we really couldn't fuck it up any harder. And people all, oh, we stopped Hitler, we stopped this, and oh my god, Russia this, Russia that. Motherfucker, if you live in the United States, you live in the new Great Britain, we colonized the world. Don't you know that? We're in over 100 different fucking countries. Does that sound like a peaceful fucking country to you? Do you think they're telling us how many people die because of our fucking flag every day? No. But it doesn't cross your mind ever. And blindly support the troops. You want to support the troops? Tell them not to fucking join. Nobody should join. And then somebody wants to jump down my throat. Well, you don't know how the world works and how dangerous it is. Well, maybe I don't. But I know that going over there and shooting fucking people isn't going to help it any. It's just going to piss them off more. There's no way that responding with the same behavior that you claim to be fighting, that you claim to be protecting against, is the right thing. There's no way that total hypocrisy is the answer. And that's what you've been sold, is it's okay to be a complete fucking hypocrite in this country. I don't think it's possible to not be a hypocrite in some way, but you could make that a really small fucking give and take thing rather than your whole dynamic and personality being hypocrisy, because there's no cohesive narrative to what the fuck your life is, because it's just a fucking disjointed, jumbled mess of fucking event after event after event, because you're stumbling through it in first person without ever taking the time to hit the start button, pause it, smoke a cigarette, sit back and go, wow, that was a lot to take in. Maybe I should try to process that. But no, you're on to the next thing, talking about this gossip thing, or who's fucking who, or who's working where, or what kind of shoes somebody's wearing, at varying degrees, right down to the very grossest of the gross. And I really want to believe that it's not as bad as this multimedia machine juggernaut that we got going nowadays is perceiving. I'm hoping that it's just like the 10% of the craziest fuckers are just grabbing the microphone and screaming into it, and that's what's happening. Outside of corporate manipulation of media and information. I'm just saying in general, because there's a lot of fucking twat sons of bitches on that fucking internet when, as far as it comes to feedback, talking and discussing on videos and stuff. I mean, rarely do I like to look at YouTube comments. It's a good way to lose faith in humanity very fast. But I mean, it depends. Certain YouTube channels with certain crowds, I mean, you can really see some cool stuff. When you look at what the Death Squad Network, and Death Squad stands for Joe Rogan and stuff, those guys got it fucking nailed. They got just a huge group of awesome fucking people who show up, support, have a good fucking time, and want to be there and want to be involved and want to be a part of it. I'm not seeing a downside to that, people. I mean, the only way that could be a downside is if you're just going out there and they love you and you kill regardless. You might not know how good you are because you never truly tested in front of an objective audience, but other than that, it seems like it's the way to go. And it wouldn't be too hard to just do impromptu shows to find out if you eat dick on stage in front of people that aren't your people. And I'm not just saying specifically stand-up comedy, but I think bands got to do that too, where they got to take certain festivals or bills and jump on and see if they can hold their own, see if they can win a crowd that normally wouldn't be theirs over. I mean, it takes a certain fortitude and balls. I would find a certain joy in that, a thrill, fucking, the hunt and running this motherfucker down and getting it. Not letting somebody go, oh, you play what? You'll never work there. See, to me, it sounds like a fucking challenge. I'm one of those people that says you can't, and you're saying I can't. Well, then I want to try. And maybe somebody's right. Maybe I can't do certain things. But if they're wrong, which a lot of the time they are, it's a pure motivated way to find levels of validation. I mean, you never truly find validation in life. That's like a myth. It's like the thing, it's the golden carrot. You're chasing validation, and you're never really gonna find it. And I mean, the only person that can really validate you is yourself, and that's so fucking gross just to say that. God, it's only got a self-help book. I'm sorry. And even when you fucking give yourself validation, you're still not validated. You're not gonna know what the fuck's up until you die. I think that's the trick. It's the mind fuck, because death isn't real. I mean, we've seen people die, but we've never died. How the fuck do we know what happens? And I've seen different stuff, and I've been beside deathbeds. People see shit, man. I'm pretty convinced it's drugs, though. I'm pretty convinced your brain's just like, yeah, all right, man. It's been 70 years. You're on a fucking deathbed here. Here's a shitload of DMT. Go out seeing the fucking geometric spectacle that is fucking the universe. But we're always walking that fine line between optimism and pessimism. But I find myself stuck in realism. While the ugly exists, I do not ignore it. I also see the nice things, but I'm not overemphasized on it either, because I don't want to, come across as some fucking jump for joy cheerleader. Like, oh, you can do whatever you put your mind to. No, you can't. But, I mean, if you're realistic about who you are and you know yourself, you'll find what you can do. And it's not that hard. It just starts with knowing who the fuck you are and what you want out of life. And it can't be that first, oh, I just want to get paid and get bitches. You gotta go deeper, bro. Sorry, brah. And I say dude, bro, a lot. I assassinate myself for being taken seriously. I think that's the trick, though. So I haven't fucking disappeared yet. Who the fuck would take me seriously? So fat fucking kid from my race back guard, I don't know anything. But that's the point, is we're so we instantaneously jump down that fucking kind of thinking in this country. If I am to state an opinion, I am immediately assassinated from every angle that's not relevant to the fucking argument. Well, this disqualifies you, this disqualifies you. No, we're not talking about that. Stay in the pocket, people. When you're really trying to make an important point in life, people are going to try to get you here, get you off track there, especially if you're a guy. And if you're a guy listening and you're dating somebody and you've been in a long-term relationship, congratulations, you've probably figured out how to stay in the pocket during an argument. Because no offense, ladies, you are the queens of fucking getting us off topic. You will have something dead to rights won in an argument. Not that there's any winners in an argument after the argument's a fail in itself. But, you have something dead to rights. I'm like, no, da-da-da-da-da. And without fail, the next thing you know, you're an asshole and you're punching the wall and you lost somehow. It's quite the mind fuck. The trick is, though, is we all need to stop thinking what our genitalia. It's not about sex. I don't like that Freud notion that everything comes down to sex. I think everything comes down to we're all connected somehow, and yet, we refuse to acknowledge that. I believe in individuality, and I don't at the same time. I like to toss around and saying everything is and isn't at the same time. You exist and you don't at the same time. I mean, without your story and coercive narrative, would you really fucking matter? Then that really gets into egocentric kind of shit, because then if you can dictate everything, where's the line? I mean, are you crazy? Are you not crazy? Are you being stubborn? Should you take other people's advice? Da-da-da-da-da. The list will go on and on and on. Open-minded, endless discussion is terrifying to some people because it's going to touch on an area that you fucking makes you squirm. I love talking to certain people about space, and I just see that look in their eyes where they're like, I'm uncomfortable right now. And I'm like, good, you should be, because this is fucking bad shit. I mean, how do you even wrap your brain around infinity, for fuck's sake? But you try. I mean, everybody's always worried about the afterlife. It's pointless. But, I think I've taken this about as far as I'm going to go. 30 minutes in, little solo, motherfucker, little espresso shot of some slander up in your face, motherfucker. So, stay out of trouble. I'll see you all motherfuckers in next doc. Awesome Talk. Check them out. They're fucking awesome. Ice in the Face is another one of their podcasts. Check out the Sherman Tanks. Listen to Joe Rogan Experience. WTF Mark Maron's also really good. I'm just rambling and plugging things I like, hoping somebody's like, hey, Slander. I'm a whore for what I do, but I'm willing to admit it. That's the difference, people. I'm telling you up front, I want to get paid for fucking. It's all good though. Be easy. Fuck the police. And if you haven't done psychedelics, you really need to fucking find somebody that does know how to do what the fuck we do and see the world for what it is, a lie.